Shalom. Shalom and blessings to all of you who are saints. This continues to be the day that Yahweh has made, and we are all encouraged to rejoice and to be glad in it. I welcome you to our fellowship time, our interaction, which is labeled Christ, our righteous example, core principles of the kingdom. At this forum, we discuss matters relating to the faith, to the Church of Yeshua, the Messiah, Yeshua Ha, the Mashiach Messiah. Let me know, please, whether you are able to hear clearly and you can also see clearly. Additionally, did you receive notifications today? Because I'm no longer restricted by Facebook. I should not be, as a matter of fact. So let me know whether you are able to, those of you who are not getting notifications, if you have notification now. Then this issue, they don't get blackout again. Oh boy, Christmas Day again, and you're getting black power outages. GPL is just an absolute waste. So I hope that it's clear. Oh boy, Kathy didn't get notification. Charlene got notification. Okay, so some people are not getting it. Alright? Some are getting. So what you may be able to do, Kathy, is to unfollow and then follow. And once you begin to follow me, then they'll say on a live broadcast where they want notifications. And you can select the same. But today we are going to have a conversation. Or you weren't notified either. Oh boy. Well, don't blame me. Mark the hen. But today we're going to have, as I told my baby daughter a moment ago, if the police vehicle shows up in front of the yard to arrest me, then you'll know why. Because she's here with me in studio, actually. It's that kind of day where we have to, and those of us who are called to be preachers of righteousness, we must have the strength and the resolve to call things for what they really are. My brother, teacher Errol London, he's a teacher by gifting, made a few posts today that are certainly, as usual, extremely potent in reference to the deception, to the glaring delusion that those who are in error following Jesus are living. We have got many preachers, many who are supposed to be preachers. Shalom, shalom, and blessings to all of you. David got no notification. So if you're live with me now, I hope my baby can check this for me. See if they have the option to follow when you tap onto the live broadcast. So if somebody needs to know how to, I think that's how you do it. Once you join the broadcast, or it should give you the option to do so. But you can unfollow me first, then follow again. Click on my name, the one with the white truck. You click on that, then you unfollow. Is it there? And then once you unfollow, you can select whether you want to be notified. Okay, so okay, my baby's getting, so here's her phone right here. See that little notification bell right there? All right, tap on that and it tells you, it will notify you whenever I'm live. Thank you so much, dear heart. Daniel chapter 3. And we are certainly without, right, Mayo said it, she had to tap the bell and choose the option for live notifications, exactly, so that you won't be bothered by people every day. Great, okay. Now, we are in an era, in a time where you are seeing the evidence of weakened men leading people. You are seeing more and more evidence of weakened men, fearful, frightened men leading people. You are seeing more and more. Sandal, good to see you, my sister. Sister Veronica as well. Shalom and blessings to all of you. We are seeing a situation globally where men who are deemed to be world leaders having to bow to some system, a system that some of you may have no idea what it represents. Some of you are playing right along with the system. Some of you are victims of the system. Some of you are actually those who advance the cause of that system. So let me speak to you today. Shalom, shalom, Kudero. Let me speak to you about this today. We have someone who is deemed to be the president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. The president of this country. I'm speaking to him. You would not normally hear preachers who are deemed to be Christian addressing presidents of Guyana. And you need to ask yourself why. Those of you who are of the truth will already know the answer. Those of you who continue to follow error would not be able to tell the truth, although you know it. Why aren't your pastors saying so? Why aren't imams, the Muslim leaders of various mosques and masjids, why are you all not telling this man about his behavior? Are you supposed to be complicit because you're Muslim? Are you supposed to sit back and watch somebody who is the most prominent Muslim in this country? Why am I saying that? Because he is. If you don't know, this is maybe news to some of you all. Irfaan Ali is only the second leader of a country, because that's what he's been positioned to do, in the entire Caribbean, probably Latin America and South America, who has been proclaimed to be Muslim. Only number two. There's only one before him. So it is that significant. Which is why during election or the campaign, many Muslims reported to me that they were told that they should vote for their brother Irfaan, not for the PPP. Vote for your brother Irfaan, because the PPP is known to be a party of Hindus, generally at the helm. Cherry being the most prominent. Bharat, Hindu. Janet, Hindu. Donald Ramutar, Hindu. Now, if Irfaan is the most prominent by societal status, the most prominent Muslim in this country, I would like to think that the expectation in reference to his conduct has to be high, and there has to be a great outcry regarding his behavior. But what I want you to know today is that, like the Christians, like the Hindus and others, the Muslims are also guilty of the same thing in a great, significant number. Not all of them, quite a few of them, especially the imams. And today you'll be forced to say why, although you wouldn't be able to type it. If you're watching this via replay, you in your little cubby holes and corners will be forced to say to within yourself why you are quiet in the face of such glaring disrespect to your faith. The Christians have already gone. Listen to me carefully. Do you know, and those in the broadcast can tell the truth if you can, do you know that there was a time when whenever something of significance occurred globally, they wanted to have the view of T.D. Jakes? He was normally approached for his comment. Who can remember that? If you want to have a religious perspective on something, they went to T.D. Jakes. Who can remember that? Especially in the US, I'm speaking to here. He was the man. He was called America's pastor. Do you remember that? He was called America's bishop. Thomas Dexter Jakes was labeled America's bishop, America's pastor. So whenever there was a major crisis, T.D. Jakes was the man. Then the purpose-driven life one arose, Maxwell. Who remembers that when president had to be inaugurated, John Maxwell was the man. Whenever there was an issue regarding leadership and how things should function and how people can better themselves, Maxwell was the man. Remember that? Of course, we had the likes of Joel Osteen who came afterwards, but they didn't approach him too much because they knew from his tone he was a crook. So we have a record where there was a period when even the likes of Rod Parsley would have been approached for commentary. Kenneth Copeland. They were significant, but more than any one of them, T.D. Jakes. And then he petered out to nothingness, and now he's just a byword. He became insignificant. He became socially irrelevant. And one set of people brought him to that place. The Alphabet Gang, the Sodomites, destroyed him, because in the book After the Ball, which I have, somebody has my copy, I don't know who, but in that book After the Ball, they clearly defined and described how you can destroy the likes of T.D. Jakes and anyone who opposes them, or anyone who's of societal repute. How can you bring them down? And they said what you do is you position them in corners when questioning by the media. What do you stand for? What is your position on homosexuality? And once you ask that question, they said that most, if not all, of these prominent people would never want to be deemed homophobic. Hence, they will not defend their faith. They will answer in a manner that gives credence to homosexuality by not calling it for what it is. That is T.D. Jakes in essence. That's what they did to him by the Washington Post, when he said in that interview that if homosexuals cannot essentially find a place in the church whereby they're accepted, they should form their own church or go to a church where they're accepted. That's what T.D. Jakes said. He never said it was wrong. He said that if they cannot, because they asked him, can homosexuals in the church coexist? And instead of saying absolutely not, T.D. Jakes said that they can find their own church. So he endorsed homosexuals being in church, functioning in church, and conducting what you call church. That man did that. America's bishop did that. When Kirk Franklin was asked by the same Washington Post, the Breakfast Club, with Charlemagne the God and all these people, and DJ envying them, is homosexuality wrong? Kirk Franklin, your boy Kirk, said, I didn't write the Bible, so I can't say. Do you hear that? There was a time in Guyana when the name John Smith, Raphael Messiah, were prominent when it came to the moral compass. Remember that? Loris Yearwood. Certain names were prominent in this society when it came to the moral compass. There were times when certain things happened, the country would look for what the head of the Central Islamic Organization would say, the CIOG, Central Islamic Organization of Guyana. They would look to see what would that head say, because once he speaks, generally the Muslim community was represented. Did you hear anything from the CIOG in reference to the conduct of Irfaan Ali? One, in calling for what he called the National Day of Prayer and Fasting, where Muslim, Hindu, Baha'i, thief, crook, bandit, everybody could get together in the same place and you all prayed under the same umbrella, when Muhammad prohibits that in your faith. No, I'm not talking to you as if from the Bible, because you mean you don't believe the same thing in the Bible. I'm talking to you from your position of belief. And from your position of belief, Irfaan was committing haram, which is what is prohibited. And so what? What did you say? Then the same Irfaan is celebrating Pagwa, a Hindu feast. And that too, the CIOG couldn't call out. Because there's nothing wrong with that as far as they're concerned. I have never seen Muslims being permitted to have any interaction with any faith that is against what is written in your Quran or taught in your hadiths. I know Chowpa is here. Chowpa is professed to be Muslim, so maybe he could tell me where it found. I've never found it. I have never found it where you are permitted to participate in celebrations, feasts, festivities, and any form of worship that goes beyond what you are permitted to do in the Quran and in your hadith. So if there are any, please tell me, Chow Pow, because I trust that you've been around these people long enough to know what you're talking about. I am not talking about the Bible with you all yet. I'm coming to the church in a minute. You see, what is happening in Guyana is that I am telling you this today, and even in the US it may happen to you to a lesser extent. What is called your constitutional freedom is actually the imprisonment of your faith. Somebody needs to type that. What is called your constitutional freedom is actually the imprisonment of your faith. According to Guyana's law, let me say to you again, what is called your constitutional freedom is actually the imprisonment of your faith. The Constitution of Guyana doesn't permit you to do what I'm about to do today. Hence I said, it's a good Christmas day to be arrested. Who cares? I do not regard the Constitution above my faith. The Constitution of Guyana is secondary to what I believe in. It governs my daily civil actions or my civic responsibilities. It does not govern my faith. If the Constitution collides with my faith, then my faith shall stand against the Constitution. The Constitution does not govern what I believe and doesn't govern how I talk. And what has happened in this country, I'm talking to Guyana here, is that enshrined in the Constitution, because it was not fashioned by godly men. So you can't expect godliness from a constitution that was framed by ungodly men. You can expect civility from it, but not godliness from it. And these wimps like Smith would bow to the Constitution, so they would not offend anybody. Okay, so Chow Pow has typed, let me read this before I proceed. Chow Pow was a Muslim. He said, we are not, sir, permitted to participate in these different feasts of different religions. We do not mind who is worshipping who, but we cannot be a part of that worship. The Prophet said, if we can't find one amongst us that is worthy, we must accept a person of the book. Thank you, sir. And the person of the book has to be the Christian. That's what he was talking about, by the way. So the Constitution of this country prohibits your speaking against another person's religion. Hence the Ethnic Relations Commission, and most hypocritically and ironically so, well, actually rightfully so I should say, was headed by John Oswald Smith, the Right Reverend Dr. General Bishop Fearful Look at who? The leader of the Assemblies of God, the largest religious body in this country in reference to the church, John Smith, is leading the Ethnic Relations Commission. And in that commission, it is known you are not permitted to speak against another person's religious beliefs. But the Bible, the scriptures, this Bible is called, the word Bible is in the Bible. The Holy Scriptures, the scriptures of the saints, the scripture of the Muslim, allows you by teaching and commands by teaching that you speak against other religions that are wrong. That's what you call propagating your faith or proclaiming your faith. How can you preach righteousness if you don't offend what is against righteousness? The Constitution says no. You can't talk against Muslims. You can't talk against Hindus. You can't talk against Christians. Everybody must get along. We can't get along if we speak into what I believe in. Because the scriptures don't permit me to get along with people. I can deal with you in a civilized manner. In the secular world, we have to work together. I can do business with you because we'll be doing business. It's a secular environment. I cannot avoid all sinners lest I have to be taken out of the world. That's what Shaul said, essentially. I would interact with people of different behaviors and beliefs. But we cannot merge our faith. We cannot synchronize our belief system and get along, which is what the Constitution of Guyana requires and stipulates. So when the Pandit said, now, listen, Irfaan, do you want to make this a Muslim state? Oh! He should be taken to court because he's inciting ethnic and racial disharmony. That is what they're relying on. The Constitution prohibits speaking against anybody's belief. But the scripture that I subscribe to and the God I serve permits me to do so. So which one must I subscribe to? Which one am I supposed to obey? I cannot obey the aspect of the Constitution that prohibits me from preaching my faith. Let him put something from behind the phone outside, baby. It's okay. I am not going to tell you that as a preacher, I am going for 1 second to sit back and allow what I believe in to lose weight because I don't want to be arrested. I'm not talking to the church yet. You all sit tight. Your turn come in. The Muslims, when it was emancipation, as they call it, Irfaan was on the stage doing the fancy dance and walking up himself. And that was acceptable. His wife, who's supposed to be Muslim before that, had the cruise, the all-white boat cruise. Remember that? For those who are disabled. And as a first lady, that's the first lady I ever saw as a first lady. Bend over, her leg up, cock up the leg, cock up your leg, and whining. And you, CIOG people, said nothing. Because as far as I'm aware, is that how Muslim ladies are supposed to behave? The police know where I live. They don't have to go far to find me. So I talk to you today and they could find me when I'm done with you, or while I'm talking, they could come right here and let's have a conversation. Because I need to address you and your foolishness. Is that how any Muslim female is supposed to conduct herself? So all these imams across this country, you can't address her behavior? All of you imams in Guyana, you couldn't call out a female Muslim's behavior. Which female Muslim in the Quran is allowed to burn? So it seems to me as if the first family, husband and wife, get a free pass from what their faith requires of them, because after all, they're down to earth. Yes, Shirley, yes, they're down to earth. They're down to earth, and so she's a down to earth first lady. So she went down to earth in terms of her morality. You have never seen any of our president's wives, Arthur Chung, Viola Burnham, Janet Jagan, even Vashni Jagdeo, she said Jagdeo had her sleeping outside on the couch somewhere. Even Vashni, even Ramatar's wife. Sam Hines, when he by default became president when Chetty Jagan died for 6 months. Sandra Granger, none of them, not one of them can you say you ever saw behave in that manner. And then the argument became she's young. So there's some clause in Guyana's protocol regarding how you conduct yourself, or some clause in the Quran or in your Hadith, Muslims, says that if the Muslim lady is young, she could bend over and cock up foot and whine. I never saw it in the Quran, but I'm saying to you, maybe you could present that to me. So because of all of these weaknesses, TD Jakes out the window. Creflo Dollar is of course Dollar Man, gone. Now Farrakhan has become the focal point of the voice of contention in the USA. Farrakhan is now seen as the man who's standing up to talk against certain things without fear. Imagine that. Louis Farrakhan is now the man because TD Jakes is a chicken. Which is why Kyrie Irving and those are now saying that they identify with Muslim, because they see the church as being weak and stupid. Not the church of Yeshua HaMashiach. I need to show you. Can you see this? You all take a good look. And I'm glad that Chow Pow is here. Take a look. Should I rotate it? Do you all know these people? We'll put it this way. Do you know these people? Do you know the man and the woman? Do you know them? Do you know these people? So which part of the Quran allows for an idol to be placed behind two Muslims? The son doesn't have this decision making here, so I'm not speaking about the son. Which part of your Quran or your Hadith allows you to sit before an idol, obviously dressed in the seasonal attire, to show you celebrating the season? Which one of your teachings in Islam allows this? So your argument is going to be, and we go to Daniel chapter 3 in a minute, your argument is going to be that this is the president of Guyana, the first family, hence he cannot be biased as to what he celebrates. And that is where my teaching comes from today. Barrett did it. Janet had to do it. Chetty had to do it. Desmond Hoyt had to do it. Granger had to do it. Well, he didn't expect anything from him in terms of a stance of strength. All of them, once they ascend to that place, even Aubrey Norton you saw today, sending Christmas greetings, every last one of them have to subscribe to a global system of functionality, where their faith is not preeminent, their position is most important. So you have here a Muslim who's supposed to be among the strongest in reference to what you stand for, is bowing to a God, which is the world system that controls him, because he's going to lose popularity if he stands for what he believes in. Thank you, Ronald. That's exactly the point I'm about to make. The argument is that once you ascend to presidency, then you have got to forget about your faith. I told you already. Many of you talk about I should seek to be president of this country. Let me tell you this straight up. I told you before. The president is a public servant. There's no special position. He is the highest ranking public servant. That's all he is. This is not some deity here. The president is a public servant. Which is why when they give pay increase to public servant like Ali did, he got increased too. Because he is a public servant. He's a constitutional officer. That's all. There's nothing that says a president has to subscribe to any religious belief. None. Or he has to be acquiescing in his conduct, bowing to all, lest he offend some. No. If that's the case, Ali says that he is Muslim. I'm simply asking you, how could Muslim be before Christmas tree? It's called haram. It is prohibited. Muslim, let me get deeper for y'all. Let me get deeper for some of you here. Irfaan, if you don't know, Muslims don't believe that Jesus, not Yeshua. They don't talk about Yeshua. Muslims don't believe that Jesus is God or the Son of God. Listen, Brother Brian, good to see you, my brother. I'm happy when you join these types of broadcasts here. It's called haram. So if Muslims don't believe, because you don't profess Yeshua, that Jesus is the Son of God, how are you celebrating Christmas when Christmas is about the birth of the Son of God, as you all say? Irfaan, how are you doing that? And the scripture records in Luke chapter 1 that this person, Luke chapter 1, Gabriel the angel to Miriam said that you should produce this son, call his name Yeshua. He shall be called the Son of the Most High. If he's called the Son of the Most High, it's only one person has the title. No more. So if the Most High produces his son, he'll be called the Son of the Most High. Then he has to be deemed God. Because deity cannot produce humanity in reference to being you're my son. So once a Muslim celebrates Christmas, you are fighting against what your own Quran taught you, or your belief is saying. Because if you celebrate Christmas, you celebrate the birth of Jesus, which is the birth of the Son of God. That's what Irfaan is doing to you all. And every last one of your Muslims who do this, that's exactly what you're doing to your own faith. You just like the church. That's why I said talk to church in a minute. You are exactly like the church. You are all deceived by the same thing. So make up your mind. You can't have it both ways. If you celebrate Christmas, you celebrate the birth of your Jesus, and according to the birth of your Jesus, he's supposed to be the Son of God. So if he's the Son of God, not Yahweh, then it means he has to be God. Every one of you Muslims who believe that you have to be politically correct, that's what you're doing. If I were to be president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, I will celebrate nothing called your Christian, your Hindu, your Muslim belief, because they don't have to do it. My position is to govern the country, not to celebrate your religious feasts. I would not outlaw them, but I would not involve myself in them. I wouldn't move to prohibit you from being Muslim. I wouldn't move to prohibit you from being Christian or Hindu. What I would do is not participate in your foolishness. Daniel chapter 3. So here you have Christian Ali, Muslim Ali, and Hindu Ali. He's all three. He's whatever you throw his way, he is. Because this leader represents the crux of the Jesus Church. This man is exactly what the Jesus Church is. This is exactly what the Jesus Church is. What you see in your finale. Y'all could be anything. Y'all. You. Because you are also idol worshippers. You present the Christmas tree in your church. You say the church is a house of God. And in the house of God you bring an idol. What are you? You say, don't forget the reason for the season. Jesus is the reason for the season. Yes, because deception is the reason for the season. Exactly. The greatest lie ever told to humanity, that Jesus is the Son of Yahweh. That is what you celebrate. You have to celebrate what you are, which is deception. Yeshua HaMashiach has nothing to do with December 25th. Nothing to do with the season. There is no Hebrew feast in December. Oh! There is no feast of Yahweh's in December. So what you celebrating then? If you serve the Hebrew God, how are you celebrating a feast when he has none in December? What are you celebrating? What is Irfaan celebrating? All of y'all get together. Christmas is the only holiday where the entire world by faith agree. You mark my word today and prove me to be wrong. Christmas, there's no other day. There is no other day in the year when the entire world by faith come to celebrate this holiday. Why? What could make a Hindu oh Lord, what did Asif say? Asif Baku said, bro, I told you if you don't celebrate among the different groups, you will not get support and vote. Then I would not get support and vote. Simple. Because you made my point, Asif. Exactly the point. To get support and to get votes from people, you have to deny your faith. Then I would not get votes and not get support. It's that simple to me. But last I check, if Yahweh, who raises kings up and sets them down, if Yahweh wants me to lead the country, he make you go and vote. I wouldn't even know what to do to yourself. I don't go the route of saying I will deny my faith so you could vote for me. To hell with that. I was cautious, but I'll say it to you straight. To hell with that foolishness. Not me. I would never make my faith secondary to my service. My service to this country or my service to people has to do with my faith. If I cannot be a son or a child of Yahweh serving him, I cannot serve you. Do you see the difference? My faith determines my service. My faith determines my service. My faith determines my service to you. If I cannot be true to my faith, I can never be true to you. Shalom, Brother E. Good to see you. Daniel chapter 3. Daniel chapter 3. Let's go to the book from verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel chapter 3 verse 1. Very familiar scripture, but some of you never saw what I saw. And what I saw when I look at this text deeper. Daniel chapter 3. Nebuchadnezzar the king had a gold statue made, 90 feet high and 9 feet wide, which he set up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babel, which you call Babylon. When Nebuchadnezzar the king summoned his viceroys, prefects, governors, judges, treasurers, counselors, sheriffs, and all the provincial officials to assemble and come to the dedication of the statue. Main Street light up. Some of you wouldn't see this. Is it now not normal behavior in Guyana where for Pagwa, Main Street comes alive and their events, and the president summons the leaders. Come, let's all sit here and be a part of this celebration. At Christmas time, even bigger. Come, Christmas villages being opened, the president, the king, summons ministers in government, and you all have, and then the opposition gets offended. He didn't invite us. Imagine you're a Christian in the opposition. I'm mad that you're not invited to Christmas celebration. You mad that you aren't invited to celebrate a pagan holiday, an ungodly, deceptive day. You want to be honored by being invited. And so the president summons leaders to come to this central place where you all must give credence to and accept this God, this celebration of Christmas. Oh, you don't worship the Christmas tree? Then why do you have to bow to it every year in reference to what you do? Every single year, you have to bring it into their church, into your house. You don't have a choice. You have to pay attention to how you treat with it. Why? If you don't worship this thing, then you don't bow yourself to it. Why does it control you to that extent every single year? The king summoned them. And he said, there's a dedication of the statue. Come here, every one of you. Verse 3. The viceroys, prefects, governors, judges, treasurers, councillors, sheriffs, and all the provincial officers, officials assembled for the dedication of the statue, which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. They stood in front of the statue, in front of the Christmas tree, in front of the statue that Nebuchadnezzar has set up. They stood in front of it. Their attention is now on this one thing. Everybody's focused on the one thing. Do you know that if you Google now, they'll tell you that Christmas has replaced, the Christmas tree, as a matter of fact, has now replaced Jesus in popularity for Christmas. And some of you morons sit before Christmas tree and say, Jesus is the reason for the season. Really? So how do you put the Christmas tree behind you like Irfaan and you say that Jesus? You have this. Look at the president. Look at your first lady. Look at your first son. In front of a Christmas. Do you see anything about your white, blue-eyed Jesus here? So to them, this is the season. And you Christians do the same thing, where you have your Christmas tree, but Jesus is the reason for the season. So where's Jesus then? Hanging from the tree? Where is he? Is he tucked under the tree somewhere? You have a tree that has you all like this. What is worst is this tree by species. You don't even find them in Guyana. We generally don't have a forest of evergreen here. The fir trees. So you import plastic ones. And you pay 100 plus 200,000, almost $500,000 for some of them, depending on their size. Let's go to verse number 4. And a herald now proclaimed, peoples, nations, languages. Listen to what he spoke to. Peoples, nations, languages. Listen to what he spoke to. Peoples, meaning tribes and everything else. Nations, languages. You are ordered. Oh wow, listen to what the letter said. Even the simple action of collecting the gift from under the tree is significant. Yes, you have to bow down to get the gift. That's good right there. You are ordered that when you hear the sound of the horn, the pipe, the harp, the zither, the lute, the bagpipe, and the rest of the musical instruments, you fall down and worship the gold statue that Nebuchadnezzar, the king, has set up. Whoever does not fall down and worship is to be thrown immediately into a blazing hot furnace. When you hear the announcement, you have to bow. Do you know what happened to any minister if you refuse to attend these people's Christmas function. Many of you who are called saints on this broadcast now, you went to your Christmas party for your staff, for your office, because you told you're not a team player if you don't. Let's talk. What drove you out of your house to go to the Christmas party? You knew that if you did not go, when this announcement made, we are going to meet on the 15th of December for the Christmas party. Then they got smart and said, okay, then we won't call it Christmas party, we call it staff luncheon or staff party or closing activity. So if you don't go, then you are not seen as a team player. And many of you had to go because you don't want to be deemed to be in danger of losing your job. I submit to you that if your faith is preeminent, if your faith is priority, you would not bow to these stupid orders because you become a millionaire. In the US. You could sue them if you're in the States, for sure. That they want to make you follow their edict to go to parties. You are not employed to go to parties. All across this town in Linden, you've got people. I saw Bowside, for example, with a machine leaving the North Gate with a big Christmas tree in a bucket. Traffic must be stalled up and the police leading the way, taking it to the Christmas village. And all around the place you've got these ceremonies where you flick a switch, put a switch on, and the Christmas tree comes, the lights come on, and yay! This is the season where we celebrate love and kindness. It is? So why y'all cut off people light then in Christmas or water? Why do I have a light bill? All across the country, this behavior is seen in people all across the world. Because at Saturnalia, which is what this is about, there was the feasting. There was the behavior, the wild behaviors. The crazy conduct. Once you heard the sound, you had to respond. Once you heard the sound, you had to respond. And so he said, whoever doesn't fall down and worship will be thrown into fire. Let's go to verse number 7. Therefore, when all the peoples heard the sound of the horn, the pipe, the zither, the lute, the rest of the musical instruments, all the peoples, nations, and languages bowed. Whoo! All of them bowed. Fell down and worshipped the gold statue that Nebuchadnezzar king had set up. All of them fell and worshipped. Listen to me carefully. The fact that they fell and they worshipped means that they were all, by fear or admiration, doing the same thing. Either through fear or admiration, they did the same thing. They all complied with a system that was foisted on them. You church people tell us that you know that Christmas is pagan, but you just choose to celebrate the birth of your Jesus. Why? You Hindus know that you're not taught to celebrate any Jesus birthday, but why do you do it? You Muslims like Irfaan Ali, no, but you just can't help yourself, can you? Because you are controlled by a system. You are governed by a system that has made you bow to the God of this world. The God of this world, who's called Hasatan or Satan, doesn't mind how you bow to him. He just makes you bow nonetheless. And you all don't get this here. He doesn't mind how you bow as long as you bow to him. So if you bow in the name of, well, we just choose to celebrate the birth of Jesus, fine, no problem. You're still bowing to Christmas. You're still bowing to the system of deception. He doesn't mind how you do it. After all, it's just a time to be with family. You're still bowing. Because you could have been with them last week. You could have been with them the week before. You could have taken a weekend off and see your family. Why you have to do it now? Because the system of the world says, through the God of this world, that you will come together all across the world, and at this given time, on this given day, you shall bow to a false, fake lie. And you all have to do it. You just do it in different forms and fashion. And even the Muslim in Irfaan Ali is bowing to it. Your Muslim is bowing. Look at Yahweh, the most prominent, powerful Muslim in the Caribbean at this moment, who's a president, because no other Muslim across the Caribbean is president. The most prominent one is before Christmas tree. Look at Yahweh. Look what he's doing in your faces, where he's showing you that even the most prominent Muslim cannot hold fast his belief once Christmas comes. I saw some of y'all celebrating foolishness where Ali's wife threw some ball, Christmas ball, big Christmas celebration. And what music was playing in reference to the video clip they posted of a president of this country? Some of y'all don't know the song. I heard it years ago when I used to be traveling in buses. Action. Jamaican song. Action. Not a bag of mouth. Listen to what Irfaan Ali, the president, again dancing up in. Listen to me. The president of this country is dancing to action. Not a bag of mouth. Real loving what the girl them know about. There's an Irfaan for y'all. Irfaan. He's a bedroom jockey. He don't use no stone. You know, stone is something man rub on tip of the penis for a prolonged erection. And your president and first lady at an official ball is dancing to that music. Where the girl want a bedroom jockey, he using no stone, and you're celebrating that garbage. Is that proper conduct? What kind of guttural behavior we have from a state leader here? What has happened to our standards in this country? This is not about Christian, it's about what is proper, what is noble. What foolishness are you telling me? There is something called propriety in your country. Don't miss that. It's not a Christian principle. It's not a Muslim principle. It's not a Hindu or Baha'i principle. It is what is proper. It's called propriety. It's how you conduct yourself as a statesman. Imagine that his wife is the one who is the matron of the ball. And she brings y'all, and her husband is there dancing, that he's a bedroom jockey, or the music is playing now. Bedroom jockey, me not use no stone, what the men used to rub as a sexual enhancer, rubbing their penis. This man! Look at their conduct. And the Muslim can't call him out. Because at this time of year, it is where Saturnalia, the god Saturn, is honored. And it began that way, and it continues to be that way, where you don't have law, you don't have order, you do whatever you want in the name of celebration. That's what we have before us in the State House. So what I want to get to is from verse 8 thereabout. But then some of the Chaldeans, they call Kasdim, approached and began denouncing the Hebrew people. They said, Nebuchadnezzar the king, may you live forever. Your majesty, you've ordered that everyone who hears the sound of the horn, pipe, harp, and zither, lute, bagpipe, and the rest of the musical instruments, is to fall down and worship the gold statue. And that whoever does not fall down and worship has to be thrown into the hot furnace. Listen to this here. Verse 12. There's some Jews, there's some Yehudim, who have put who you've put in charge of the affairs of the province of Babel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, your majesty, have paid no attention to you. Listen to this. They do not serve your gods, and they do not worship the gold statue you set up. I read this and preached it for so many years of my life and never saw one line. They do not serve your gods. Listen to what the contention is. It is not just the statue. Listen to the contention. These three do not serve your gods. Hello, Babel was, Israel was in captivity. They were in captivity. They were bound. They were captives in Babylon. And what happened here is the king made an announcement. Everybody has to bow. Only 3 names, of course, in Daniel. Only 3 names were mentioned as to not having been made to bow. They were prophets who were captive. They were priests who were captive. They were high priests because at the time of the year that to serve, who were captive. They were elders who were captive. Hebrew, that is. They were Hebrew nation. There was a Hebrew nation of people, which is why he said languages and nations. Because Babel was a world power. And in Babel, in Babylon, they captured you and you had to be subjected to them like in the USA. They were a world power. So you have got only 3 names out of millions of people, which means everybody else bowed. Everybody else bowed. Hebrew people bowed. But the contention is, and the part I want us to get to see here today is where they said they do not serve our gods. What is this Christmas thing all about? The Christmas tree is the representation of a god. If you didn't know, now you know. The Christmas tree, I don't mind how you try to Christianize it. It is by origin the representation or the symbol of a god. You admit to it, you church devils. You admit to it. And yet, you decorate it. Can you imagine that? You admit to it. Then one said to me, Wells said he doesn't worship the Christmas tree, but he decorates it nonetheless, and it's in his house. But he doesn't worship it. So why is it in your house? Why is it in the church? If you don't worship it, why does it have such credence in your life? So I asked him the question, why don't you bring the God Hanuman in the church then? Of course, he couldn't answer up until this day. Years have passed, he still can't answer me. He can still answer me now, Wells. Why don't you bring the God Hanuman in your church then? Why don't you bring the God Christian in your church? Why don't you put Christian in your house? Because you couldn't answer me 4 or 5 years ago. Answer me now then. These men said the issue here is that they're not worshiping our gods. So the whole contention is about the gods. The issue is that people are known that, listen, if you don't participate in certain activities, you are announcing from your withdrawal that you are not serving that God. That is what the saints are about. Hallelujah. As saints, we are announcing to you all that we are not participating in your Christmas foolishness because we're not serving your gods. That's the bottom line. We dance around and all that. I'm not dancing around this anymore with you all. It comes down to one thing. Which God do you worship? You cannot say that you worship Yahweh, but you're bowing to Christmas. You can't say worshiping Yahweh, but Jesus is the reason for the season. Garbage and utter foolishness. Because Yahweh never permitted you to worship anything called Christmas, anything called Jesus being the reason for season. He never allowed you to participate in anything except the commanded feasts. So how can you tell me now that you have a choice as to what you participate in? It came down to which God are you worshiping? Which God? Which God is controlling your worship? Talk to me today. Let's have the conversation. Don't beat and run anymore. Let's get straight to the point. Because as long as you bow to this deceptive season called Christmas, your God is not Yahweh. Bottom line. Which God? Which God has your attention to the point whereby you prepare to say that although the Bible said this, I will do something else? Which God has you so controlled that you can say that you know, like Pat Robertson, according to what teacher posted there and I saw it before? Which God can make you say that, like Pat, Christmas is 100% pagan, 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 pagan? That's what he said. And then says, nonetheless, you can still celebrate it. Which God? Yahweh? No. The same God that told you that you could call his son Jesus if you want to, that same God has you right where you are. You cannot worship, meaning to bow yourself down to any deity called Yahweh, and you turn around and acknowledge by decoration a Christmas tree or Jesus. You are deceived. Do you know how much money I save every year since I stopped celebrating stupid thing called Christmas? Do you know how much money I saved? I don't have to buy Christmas tree. I don't have to decorate fairy light. I don't have to pay for electricity bill going out the window. I don't have to buy gift for everybody in my household. Do you know how much money I've saved? Today, what is it? Curry. Normal food. What did I eat? Liver stew and bread. I got no problem telling you. I tell you for a reason. I don't normally tell this, I tell you for a reason. What was my Christmas Day breakfast? Liver stew, chicken liver giblets, and bread. Christmas foolishness. What are you bowing to? There are no curtains. And I thank you for my wife and my children. They deliberately don't have anything to do with this house at this time of year. We'll deal with it later on. They don't touch certain things. No. See, Deborah had plantain and eggs. Christmas? Kimberly packed 2-pack joy. Talk to me. Foolishness, I mean, you have to. In anger, verse 13, Daniel 3:13, in raging fury, Nebuchadnezzar ordered Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be brought. 7 courier passengers, tell me about that. Yes, sir. When the men had been brought before the king, verse 14, Nebuchadnezzar said to them, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, is it true? Listen to this. I taught this. I preached from this and never saw this right here. Nebuchadnezzar said to them, because all we know about is they threw him in the fiery furnace and then they got out. But you listen to the part. Listen to this part. Nebuchadnezzar said to them, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, is it true that you neither serve my gods nor worship the gold statue I set up? Is it true? Is it true that you did not participate in this Christmas party? Is it true that you didn't come to the president's wife's ball as a minister in the government? Is it true, Brother RBC had Quaker Oats porridge with Crick's biscuits? Yes, sir. Is it true? The king is asking the 3 Hebrew young men here, is it true that you did not come here when the instruction was given? Is this the truth? That you are not serving my gods? What you don't get, Ali, is when you show up to the Hindu festival and you cross your leg. I told Grinder the same thing. And you sit and have yourself garland and all of these things. You are worshipping their God. You cannot show up to an activity of idol worship, participate in that activity, and then say that you're not worshiping the idol. That is absolute stupidity and nonsense. It is foolishness, and you know that. You cannot show up to the Christmas celebration whilst you have the State House with the Christmas tree inside. Now I'm going to go down the path here in closing and make some of y'all shiver and get so mad that you can't take it. Let me talk to you now. Y'all can't handle this. I'm telling you this, so you might as well get off the broadcast now if you can't take it, but I'll sit and I'll leave you. If Irfaan Ali respects religion, as he wants to posit his argument, and some of you want to defend him with the garbage, he's just respecting everybody's religion. That's your argument. So Pagwa, he goes out there. Diwali, oh yes, State House is lit up. Christmas, Christmas tree in the State House. For Eid, which is where the Muslims share their gifts, that's what he should have been celebrating, because he's Muslim. That happens too. Hear me here, and hear me well. And I want Guyanese to type an answer. I can hear the TV. Is Rastafarianism a religion in Guyana? Y'all can't take this, so buckle up for this one here. Come, answer me. In this country, Guyana, South America, the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, is Rastafarianism a religion? Do we have Rastafarians in this country? Since Irfaan respects all religions, and at the State House you can have Diya for Diwali, you can have it decorated for Eid, you can have Christmas tree in the State House, is good. Yes, Aubrey. Yes, Brother Aubrey. Rastafarianism is a religion in Guyana. Okay. Why? Why mainly African Guyanese men are in jail for the weed? Why don't you have the marijuana plant in the State House? Because the weed is their symbol of their religion. You don't discriminate? You're Christian who love God so much and don't discriminate? Let's talk then. Since you want to defend Ali's garbage he's not Christian but he's celebrating the season, why can't he respect the Rastafarian culture, which demands the use of marijuana as a form of their worship? Why? If he respects all religions, why doesn't he respect the Rastafarians then? Why are mainly African Guyanese men, Hebrew men and women, in jail for their religion? Because the constitution of this country discriminates against them. But the same constitution prohibits discrimination based on religion, ethnicity, creed, culture, gender. So you could celebrate Christmas. You're a Muslim and got Christmas tree in the house. You could celebrate Diwali. You could celebrate Pag when they throw a beer on you. But you can't deal with the Rasta man and his weed. He must go to jail for it. You are a hypocrite. That's what y'all are. You discriminate. You have belittled an entire religion, an entire culture. But you're president of everybody, and you stand up for everybody. Y'all are hypocrites. That's what you are. And Yahweh hates an unjust scale. You are discriminating against Rasta men and women. But you're one Guyana. So you have one Guyana except Rasta man. And quote me all you want. Oh, he's a pastor, he talk about weed, so what? The weed is more real than the Christmas tree because it's a plant that Yahweh's made. Yahweh never made a plastic Christmas tree with fairy lights. The marijuana plant is a natural plant. It is a biological plant. It exists in nature. It is naturally existing. And you have people in jail because of that. You, Ali, if you're not a hypocrite, tomorrow write a general clemency. All male and females who are in prison in Guyana because of weed are to go free. Until then, you are discriminating against an entire religion. You and the FC, y'all are the same thing. Every last one of y'all are the same thing. You are hypocrites. Granger come to London talking when he went up to Bayrock. I feel so high. I nearly touched the sky, quoting Bob Marley words. And then the same Granger got Rasta men and women in jail for weed, for a plant. You all are hypocrites. You are disingenuous. And Yahweh hates an unjust scale. If you are going to be leaders of this country, lead all across the board. Don't tell me that Christmas time Aubrey Norton could write a message that Christmas brings out whatever it is he wrote in reference to feelings and all the garbage and Rastaman in jail because of his religion. Christmas is a religious feast. Christmas is a religious festival. Using marijuana is a religious right. How could your constitution discriminate against African men and women? Mainly them. And you, Norton, can't address that yet. You all are hypocrites. Hypocrisy. You are hypocrites. That's what you are. You are disingenuous people. You cannot uphold what is right. And until you do so, I'll call you for what you are. Now go ahead and say that I've used an electronic device to upset you and hurt your feelings. You sissy men in this country. Imagine this what Guyana has come to by Granger's pen, where grown men can go to the court. He hurt my feelings. So all y'all hands who want to come and say, no, you shouldn't talk that way, go to the court and tell the judge that I've hurt your feelings. Go ahead. Tell them that I use an electronic device, which is my phone. I used my phone to hurt your feelings. Go ahead and tell the magistrate, complain to the magistrate. Send the police to arrest me to take my phone because I hurt your feelings. Go ahead. Prove to us what a sissy society we have in Guyana. Soft man. And you preachers, even your blue-eyed Jesus ain't soft like some of you. Because according to what's written in the King James Bible, he wasn't a weakling like y'all. You are a disgrace. I could hear you say, but if you talk like this, they wouldn't give you contracts with the construction company. They wouldn't do this, they wouldn't do that. So what? When would I allow money or the need for money to take away my voice of righteousness? When? How could that be acceptable to me or you? How could you say to me that I am supposed to be a preacher, but I can't preach lest I don't make money? Then I'm a whore. I'm a prostitute in the pulpit. And I would not be numbered among y'all. Y'all go ahead and do that to them, not me. I would prefer to never eat another meal than to be silent in the face of this injustice and hypocrisy. You, Irfaan Ali, would prefer to honor a pagan symbol than to free the Rasta man, than to free the Rasta woman. Look at your Christmas. What could be a better way to show the world that you are honorable than to say that we no longer shall discriminate against any Guyanese because it's one Guyana, hence we're going to free them because after all, I believe in justice. You can't say that. I will say it. Until you treat all of my Guyanese brothers and sisters, including the Rastafarian, with honor and respect for his religion, you are a hypocrite. Or we're not doing it too. Both y'all are hypocrites. Hardcore hypocrites. Because the state house is also owned by the Rasta man. He's a taxpayer. The state house is also owned by the Rasta woman because she's a taxpayer. Get mad all you want. They're Guyanese. It is owned by the state. They are owners of the state. The same house you decorate and the money that our money you took to decorate Christmas tree in the state house, that is the Rastaman taxpayers' money too. He has a right and she has a right. You all raid the people's farm, burn down their things. And it's Rastaman who plant in that scale more often than not. Some of y'all own supporters do that foolishness. We have to stand for what is right. And every saint across the world who's hearing my voice today, you are not qualified to be deemed righteous if you uphold injustice in any form. I'm grateful that you've tuned in today. I thank you so much for your time. I am highly honored to know that Yahweh has graced me with the responsibility to lead saints of true caliber, of strength and of courage. Jesus is the reason for your deception. That's why you celebrate this foolishness every year. But Yeshua HaMashiach is the truth. And we don't celebrate lies in the name of the truth. If you say that Jesus is the name of the Messiah, you are just as well off celebrating Christmas because you're equally deceived. Thank you so much, Daddy. Thank you so much, my Father. I appreciate it highly. I will continue to cry aloud for as long as Yahweh gives me the grace to do so. As always, I'm thankful to those of you saints who have never brought me to a place where I have to beg for anything. I have never been embarrassed in a store when I went to get food for my family because of your kindness. I'll never be an ungrateful preacher who says that God give me things and the church don't give me anything. I don't do that. Yahweh, through you and by your obedience, you give to me, you give to my family, you help to help us even though we try to do business. You also see the reason why you help to subsidize our income. I remain grateful. I will never take for granted the kindness you show to my family and to me. To all of you who give. Some of you reach out to me and say, how can we give to you? I don't even know how to publish. How to publish links and this. But you ask, I use Zelle, I use Cash App. Because people have been asking me all the time, how can we reach out to give to you? I'm grateful. I thank you all so much. I am grateful. I love you all, saints. Do well until we meet again.